Oh my gosh. Hello, my friends. Welcome to What's Up in Makeup live chat. And apparently, I don't know how to spell the word cannabis, so my thumbnail is messed up on What's Up in Makeup. And this is not what it usually looks like. Where the heck is my chats? Oh, YouTube is always changing things. But today, we're not talking about the fact that I don't know how to spell the word cannabis. We're talking about makeup brushes today. And I've got a bunch of eye brushes and a bunch of face brushes to show you. And we're going to talk about how I use them, what I use them for. I am not a makeup artist. I'm a makeup enthusiast. But sometimes I feel like it's interesting to get a perspective of somebody that has no idea what they're doing. Well, not that I have no idea what I'm doing, because I do have some idea what I'm doing. But somebody that doesn't have a ton of skill, like what brushes work for me, that help me to look like I have a little more skill than I actually do. Because I will definitely be the first person to tell you that I am not a pro. But I do feel like I've learned some tricks of different brushes to use for different purposes and different things that work well. Recently, I've learned some tips and tricks from Bailey Sarian and Leisha at X Sparkage and different things. They gave me some little insider makeup artist tips. I'm excited to talk about that. But before we do that, I need to take a sip of coffee, because I was up till 3 a.m. and I need to find the chat. The chat has disappeared. I have no idea where the chat is. It's so weird, because usually it's on the side and it just says that I'm live streaming, but there's no chat. How is this possible? Oh, while I'm figuring this out, I do want to let you know that the quality of the live stream has not been very good recently. It's been cutting out. It's been breaking up on the replay. If it does that, just know there's nothing that I can do to fix that. It looks like it still says it's waiting for me. You guys see me? I'm very confused. I don't have my phone in here. This is fabulous. But it doesn't look like anybody's in that live chat. I'm so confused. YouTube is being really weird. What does this button do? There's like a little arrow. Should I push it?
You are live.
I am live, but there's no chat.
Yeah, we got chat going on.
I can hear myself echoing. Well, I'm glad that there's a chat there for you. Maybe I can... Look at my screen. There's no chat.
Yeah.
Maybe I can... Can you turn that down, please? Look at my screen. What's the point of doing this if there's no... What the heck? Sorry, guys. I just want to be able to see you all, and I can't. Oh, I did... Okay, hold on a minute. And now it's trying to start a new one. No, that's the same thing that I did. Sorry, y'all. I want to see what you have to say, and I can't see. There's like 300 of you staring at me right now, and I don't know what to do. I can't click on there. No, that's not right. I can see that there's a bunch of you here, but I can't see what you're saying. Why? Cancel. Okay, maybe I was hoping I could open up a new window and just open up the chat as it's live, but it's not there. Let me go to my channel page and see if I can find it there. Okay, it says live now. And if I... Okay, it says live now. Okay, okay. So it looks like I can go over here. Okay, cool. I just can't watch myself and look at the chat at the same time, which is kind of weird. But we're going to go with it for today. All right. Does it look like it's...
Still fine.
Still fine. Okay. Let's just keep going. Let's say hello to the collective brain real quick, and then we'll get into the makeup brushes. So hello to Bobby. Hello to Cynthia. Hi, Catherine and Aaron and Jane. Jane says, small deep set eyes and small brushes are my challenge. I got some brushes for you, though. Monica, Mary, and AJ, and Debbie, and Raphael, and Ginger. Hello, and Shauna, and Shanna, and Ashley, and Steph is here. Streamers are having all sorts of problems too. Good to know. Thank you, Steph. Hi, Zara, and Michelle, and Caramel Butterfly. Butterfly. Good morning to you, and Dina, and Erica, and Melanie, and Julie, and Poetry's Truth, and Linda, and everybody else that I didn't say hello to you. Good morning to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with, let's do face brushes first. So we're going to start with the famous Morphe Y6. I got this in a set. I believe it was in the Laura Lee favorite set that I bought and never reviewed. This is known all over the YouTubes from the Morphe affiliates as being like the best face brush ever. But before this brush, there was another brush that was the best face brush ever, and it was the Sigma F80. And you can see they're pretty much the same as far as the way that they look. They're both flat top kabuki brushes, and what these are used for is they're used for putting foundation or other cream products on your face. You put the foundation, some people squirt it right onto their brush. I put it on my hand, and then I go like this and like that, or I'll squirt the product on my hand, dab it on my face, and then blend it with one of these brushes. If you have a very thin foundation, sometimes these kinds of brushes will make it look streaky. So this is really for a more more full coverage foundation. I feel like these work the best for. But I will tell you that I do not like the Y6 as much as I like the Sigma F80 because the Sigma F80 is more dense. Hopefully you can see. It's like this is just fluffier. And I feel like with cream products, it's really nice to have a nice dense brush. So I definitely am not a fan of the Y6, and it has nothing to do with it. It's Morphe. It's just Luxie, the 830. This was from the Wonder Woman collection. It's very similar to the F80, but they make this particular brush not from Wonder Woman. They make, oh my gosh, streaming interrupted, really? Can I talk today? Well, hopefully I can get this out enough, I hope. So will I list these in the description? Probably not, because it's going to take me like, I don't know if I'm going to, because I have to move on to the next thing, and it's going to take me hours to list them all in the description. I don't know. I might, I don't know. I'll try. I'd rather just, you know, I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot. But let me just talk about the brushes, and I'll try to put it in the description. I don't know if it's going to happen. So anyway, so Luxie, they're a little less expensive than Sigma and Morphe. Sometimes they can reach up to that price point, but these are really nice, and they do make these in other than the Wonder Woman. Let's see if I have one that is even less expensive than that, that's similar. I know I do. Where's my current brushes that are dirty? Apparently, I'm not using one right now. I've been using, well, let me see if I can find Jen, stay on topic, sorry. 3 a.m. Jen brain here. I'm pretty sure that Moda makes one, but I can't tell you. I should have grabbed a more affordable one out for you, but I didn't do that. But one thing that I've been doing that's very similar of an effect is using these paddle brushes. If you've ever seen these, this is from the Moda Prismatic line. These things are fantastic as far as spreading foundation. This one's actually dirty right now because this is the one I've been using for foundation. So it's dense, you know, for spreading the foundation. It's really fast to do. Like if you're in a hurry in the morning and you want to put foundation on and you just want to go, like beauty blenders take for flipping ever unless you spread it instead of rolling it like you're supposed to. Because with a beauty blender, you're supposed to pat and roll like this. That takes forever. Oh my gosh. I'm never, like, when I was getting up and going to work in the morning, like getting up, getting ready, I had a deadline to be at work. Like I could not use a beauty blender because it just took so long. These things are amazing for that. You just kind of go whoop, 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 whoop. Like the same thing as with the brush, but these are a lot faster and these are very inexpensive. You can get these, I think the entire set of like a bunch of brushes is like $20 and you get a bunch of them. These are really, really good. Let me see what what people are saying about this. Mary's face-to-face reviews. I really like the paddle brushes for foundation. Yes, absolutely. Hi, Savvy. Savvy. I have a set of paddle brushes from eBay and they're amazing. Yeah, and there are a lot of brands that make these now. It started off with Artis with the really fancy ones, which are very, very nice. And I do think they perform better than these, but it's not significant enough for it to make a difference for me. But there are a lot of brands that make these. I would stay away though from the Makeup Revolution ones because I had a really bad experience with those where they said, oh, they're flexible, they're bendy. And I was literally going like this. I wasn't being real with it and it snapped. I've also had one snap just in general regular use going like this, and the next thing I know, it's broken. Like the whole head of it pops off, like just cracks. So I would not recommend the Makeup Revolution ones because I don't feel like they're of high quality as far as the handle goes. But the Moda ones have not done me wrong. They've been fantastic. These were sent to me in PR though, by the way, but I don't care. I'm going to tell you if it sucks. I'm not going to let you buy something that sucks. Emily Noel just reviewed some new Eco Tools round brushes and they look great. I saw she uploaded that. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. They blend amazingly and they're so fast, and that's what makes them amazing. Now, along the same lines with concealer, I use the smaller paddle brushes for concealer. So actually, I think I have the dirty one is the Makeup Revolution one because that one hasn't broken on me yet. But this one, I'll kind of go like this with the concealer under my eye, and then I'll pat it in with my fingertip. That's the way a lot of times I'll do my under eye concealer is with something like this. So, I mean, really it's up to personal preference, but for me, I prefer a more dense brush. So when you're going to go buy a flat top kabuki, look for one that's more dense because I feel like that is definitely the better way to go, in my opinion. I think it's a lot easier. Jill B says, I've recently bought the Real Techniques Paddle Foundation brush and I love it. Nice, nice. Miracles can happen. It's like deciphering one of those, the license plates. Miracles can happen. I got it. I think Real Techniques and Eco are on sale at Ulta right now. Nice. That's fantastic. Where do I get mods? Moda. Moda you can get at Walmart. They sell them at Walmart. They also have their own website, but Walmart is their big retailer. Emily did make it to 1 million. Yay, Emily. I'm so happy for her. She's such an amazing person. Stephanie says, not a fan of those brushes. Honestly, I'm a sponge convert. I can really get into my under eye with a pointed edge. Yes. And, you know, you have to decide and figure out what's best for you. And the sponges do work. I would rather use a sponge on my under eyes than my entire face because then I just have to worry about under here, and it really can make a beautiful look. And really, honestly, a lot of times lately, I've been using my fingertips a lot because number one, it's fast. Number two, I can feel what I'm doing. And number three, I feel like it really gives a nice look to just use my fingertips to pat it in. But most of the time, I'm using a brush to kind of swipe it on and then patting it in with my fingers. That's what I do the most for concealer. So Julie says, my Walmart has a really poor selection of Moda brushes. Oh, no, you can also get them online as well. But Moda has a bunch of sets. Make sure you're getting a set, if you're going to buy one of their sets, that has brushes that are useful to you. I feel like some of their sets aren't curated the best, where they've got brushes in there. It's like, what am I even going to do with that, you know? So make sure you look at every brush and you're like, okay, will I actually use this? Because sometimes you can get the individual brushes on Walmart's website for the same price as you would the set. You just won't get like the little cheapy like holder thing to put them in, but I don't use the holders anyway. I usually use like cups like this and stuff because it's just too much to open and close and put them back in so they don't get squished and it's very important to find out what works for you. Absolutely. Hi, V. V says, I can't do finger blend because I hate covering my fingers in makeup. Sponge all the way. Yeah, and also, like if you have long fingernails, good point, V. If you've never seen V over at V Dreamcatcher, check out her YouTube channel. But if you've got long fingernails, you know, it's a little bit trickier of a situation doing all that. But that's what works for me. So you just kind of have to, I think it's important to just know the options. And if you know the options, you can be like, all right, I'm going to try this. Don't like it. What else can I try? And I think that's where a lot of us get stuck is we know it's not working, but we don't know how to fix it and we don't know how to make it better. So I think this is going to be great, a great chat for knowing what can make things better. So let me put these flat top kabukis down. The foundation brushes that I see a lot of beginners, like not beginners, but people that are new to YouTube, a lot of professionals use these, but I see a lot of people new to YouTube grab foundation brushes that look like this. Personally, I cannot stand these brushes for foundation. It's like almost like painting with a paintbrush, and I feel like it makes my foundation very streaky, but I think that's due to me being not a makeup artist. You know, I don't know how to use these brushes very well. So I do not use brushes like this for foundation. These are great for masks. If you use face masks where you're dipping into like a jar and then applying it to your face, these things are great for that. They're really good for that, but I never use them for foundation. ever. Never, ever. Never have I ever, because I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Gurpreet says, hi, Jen. I came across your channel only a few days ago. Really admired your honest reviews. Just wanted to know that you're really putting a lot of work into your reviews. Keep doing that. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's move on. So now we've kind of talked about what I personally used for foundation. Let's talk about let's do, well, concealer. So I showed you the one brush for concealer. Here's another option for concealer, are brushes like this. This is by a brand called Outer Beauty, and no one talks about Outer Beauty. I discovered them at an IMAX. They were super, super nice. They are, to me, exactly the same as Sigma brushes. I did a whole video on these like 3 years ago when I discovered them, and they're really, really good. I know Sigma, nobody really talks about Sigma anymore. Well, they're starting to come back. They're starting to make a comeback. They've got all those curated kits and things, but I love Sigma brushes. I really, really do. They work very well for me. But Outer Beauty is definitely an option that I think they're a little less expensive than Sigma. But these, I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked in a while, but these pointed brushes are really nice to get right up in the corner for concealer. And I love, 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 love this brush. So I use brushes like this. And so that's an option. And then also brushes like these. This is actually an eyeshadow brush. This is the 200 brush by, I almost said Royal and Langnickel. That's not right. And then I'm thinking Makeup Revolution. That's not right either. We were just talking about it a second ago and it went out of my head. Oh my gosh, I need to figure out how I'm going to get more sleep. Girl or boy. Oh my gosh. What the world? Real Techniques. Ding, ding, ding. Do I win a prize? This is an eyeshadow brush by Real Techniques. But these brushes, if they're big enough, can really do a nice job under the eyes. This isn't preferred, though. I don't like these as much as I like a brush like this, but this is an option that you can try. Just anything that's a little bit bigger to kind of like get under there and pat it in. I've seen people use brushes like this. I don't prefer brushes like this. The rounded kind, I don't feel like, I don't know. This just doesn't feel right to me. I know that's kind of weird. The Outer Beauty brush name is the Tapered Refiner. It's the F176. They have really nice brush sets over there that are fantastic. Allison says Crown has good stuff. I haven't used Crown brushes in a really, really long time, so I can't speak to them, but I know I've mentioned this recently that my friend Nady over at PopLux, he just became a Crown brush affiliate, so he's like all into the Crown brush right now, and I haven't really tried any. I know we got some BoxyCharm. I'm passing those along because I have too many brushes, so I pass those along. Raylene says the Scylla sponge are ridiculous. It was the first thing I tried, but I couldn't get it to work on foundation, so I bought the Real Techniques brushes and some BYS sponges. Yeah, those silicone sponges were an interesting idea. The idea is that if you've got something that's made out of silicone, it's not going to absorb products, you're not going to waste the product. But what it ended up doing was just really just smearing it. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to touch my mic. Just smeared it all over the face. And it was like a trend for a while to use these silicone applicators. And I don't know if they work for anybody. I would love to know in the comments below if you still use a silicone sponge applicator thing for foundation. If that's like something you love and enjoy, I would love to know because I've never met anybody. And I would love to know how you use it because to me, they were just completely a gimmick. They were a nice idea, but they didn't work at all. It just slapped it all over your face. Or if you really wanted it to work, you had to work it and make it work. And it just isn't worth it to me. It's just not worth it. I totally agree. Sarah, I know some people use skincare products with silicone sponge. I'm not sure if that works, but maybe something to give it a try. That's a good point. Probably. Okay, so those are that's kind of the cream products as far as concealer and foundation. Eye primer and face primer, I usually just apply with my fingertips. I don't see any point of applying it with anything else. It works fine for me, so I always use my fingertips. Going with cheek products, this is a staple This is the thing. This is a thing. This is the e.l.f. Small Stipple brush. If you use cream products, especially cream blush, this also works for cream highlighter really well, or liquid highlighter. It kind of works for contour, but it's kind of a weird shape. I don't use this for cream contour, but you can. You absolutely can, because what it does is it picks up the cream on the very tips of these bristles, and then you can kind of pat it on, and it looks like it's, you can really get kind of an airbrush look with it, or you can stipple it on and then tap it out with your fingertips, or you can stipple it on and blend it out with another brush, or you can stipple it on and then just kind of swirl it with this brush. But this is like a old school. Everybody used to have this. Everybody used to talk about the e.l.f. Small Stipple brush. This and the e.l.f. blush brush. e.l.f. blush brush is fantastic, and I have so many stinking brushes. I'm not sure quite where that is right now, but it's kind of a rounded tip, and it's fantastic. Those are two, if you were going to get brushes from e.l.f., I would say those are kind of the must-haves. The e.l.f. brushes, to me, I feel like the dollar ones fall apart really, really quickly. At least that's been my experiences, the dollar ones. If you're going to go for e.l.f., I would say definitely go for the $3 ones over the dollar ones. I think it makes a huge difference, because for me, the dollar ones fell apart so that I ended up having to buy other ones. And that's not worth it. If they're going to cause frustration, cause stress, it's not worth it. Spend the $3 instead. And I know for some people it's a lot to do $3 versus $1, but I honestly feel like it's worth it. Absolutely. Or, you know, the Moda brush sets are really good as well. You can get those for like 10 for the whole set of a bunch of brushes. So those end up equaling out to a couple of dollars per brush, which is really good. But yeah, this e.l.f. Small Stipple brush is a yes, and the blush brush. Those are my two favorite e.l.f. brushes of all time. I don't feel like you need a high-end blush brush, in my opinion. I feel like the e.l.f. one is just fine. Lily and Faith Howell want to know how old I am. I am 40. June 8th, 1978. Graduated high school in 1996. And some people watching this were probably born in 1996. Born in 1996, raise your hand. If I could have babysat you, raise your hand. It's too funny. Sarah, at the Beauty Hub, I used, she's talking about cleaning brushes. We'll get to that near the end. But I do want to talk about cleaning brushes. Don't let me forget. A bunch of people talking about 1996 here. Nice. All right, let's go back into brushes. So we'll talk about, okay, here's another blush brush option. This is the Real Techniques one in 300. I really like this one a lot too. Is it really truly necessary? No, you can get the e.l.f. But the reason why I like this one is because it's a little more dense, because with blushes, you've really got a couple of different formulas. You've got blushes that are less pigmented and blushes that are more pigmented. If you've got a less pigmented any product that's powder and it's less pigmented, you want to use something that's more dense and has more bristles. If it's really pigmented, you want to use something that has less bristles, because you don't want to end up with clown face. So when you're kind of picking which brush to use, keep that in mind of how pigmented your blush is specifically, because that can go real bad real quick. So like with this one's a little bit more dense. And the reason why, let me tell you the reason why, is because the product picks up on the ends of the bristles. It doesn't pick up down here. It picks up just on the tips. So when you've got a brush that has lots of bristles, it's going to pick up more product. So if you've got a really pigmented blush and you're picking up a lot of product, you're going to go straight to clown face, and it's going to be insane. So you want to use a fluffier blush brush with those. So the e.l.f. one is a little bit fluffier. This one's a little bit more dense. And also with blush, another thing I think people forget about is that blush is not this, when you think about like a pigmented, like, oh, it's so pigmented, it's wonderful. Blushes that are super pigmented are not necessarily wonderful, because they just can go crazy real quick. And that goes for people of any skin tone, in my opinion, from what I've seen, what I've watched. I try to learn about, from all different people so that I can talk appropriately. But, if you're very, very deep, maybe, but overall, it's nice to have a less pigmented blush that builds up so that you can have control over what you're doing. Where if you're dealing with a foiled eyeshadow, it's totally cool if you're like, bam, and it like gets all, So, I mean, but again, that's also personal preference too. But for me, That's my preference, is a blush that builds up, and using a lighter, fluffier brush to put it on lightly and then add a little more until you get the intensity that you want. Because, you know, when you got to take the foundation and put it over the blush because you've gone crazy and it's insane, or you got to wash your face and start over, nobody's got time for that. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Phyllis is 72. Welcome, Phyllis. You're amazing. Sarah, I totally agree with you, Jen, on the blush pigmentation. I do not own any Makeup Forever brushes, Wishlist 12. I do not own any. AJ says, for super pigmented blushes, I use a wispy fan brush to control the color. Yes, and that's something you can do and you can try. And speaking of you okay? You good?
Yeah, chat looks great.
Okay, cool.
And
yay, thank you. John fixed my thumbnail for me where I misspelled cannabis. If you had been awake, I wouldn't have made that mistake. You wouldn't have let me.
I do not stay up that.
No, he doesn't. He wouldn't have been up. All right, but anyway, back to brushes. My husband's been helping me a little bit with stuff, so I appreciate you fixing that so that I can save on a little bit of embarrassment.
Yeah, only a couple people commented.
Yeah, well, I'm sure more people saw it than commented.
Well, that's sweet, but
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so back to blushes. Fan brush. I personally don't usually use fan brushes for blush because I feel like these a lot of times will apply kind of in a strip, and because of my cheek shape, I have, you know, not small cheeks. I feel like it makes my job harder in that it applies it in a streak and then I have to blend it out. Where what I'll use a fan brush for is for highlighter. This is my favorite fan brush of all time. It is a little bit pricey. It's by Eve Pearl. It's the 110 fan brush. It is amazing. Best fan brush I've ever used. I wish it was less expensive, but I've had this thing for like 6 years. It's still amazing. And, you know, you just dip it in and you just boop, 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 brush it on and kind of give it a little swirl, 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 and we're good to go. So I really like this, but is it 100% necessary? No, but I cannot find a fan brush from a less expensive company that I like as much as this. Like the Moda ones, I've got a Moda one here. It just doesn't do the same thing. It's not the same. It's not as good. And I wish it was, but it's just not. So if you have any suggestions for fan brushes that you love, definitely make sure you leave those in the comments or in the chat if people are watching the chat. Nancy says, I have a really nice fan brush. It looks great sitting my brush holder. Yeah, they're so pretty. They're so pretty. Tasted Purple. OMG, Jen, finally a live chat that I can join. Yay! Megan. Hey, what's up, Megan? People use fan brushes for blush. New and shocking information. Yeah, I've tried it just to try it, and I wasn't a fan of it. So speaking of highlighter, there's some other options for what I use for highlighter. You have brushes like this, which are really, really nice. They pick up a lot of product because they do have the taper there. This is the Sigma tapered highlighter, the F35. It is fabulous for applying highlighter. This is going to pick up more product than this. This is going to give a much lighter application. This has more bristles, so it's going to give you more application, so I really like that. I also use, if you have smaller cheeks or you want a more, you know, a smaller area, these kinds of brushes are great. These are both Moda brushes. They're the exact same brush, just in different packaging. This is from their Metallics line. This is from one of their Prismatic Angel Fairy Crystal something line. They have a bunch of them. They're the same brush. They're just different packaging. But these are really nice if you want to, you know, really get it in one spot. You just got to make sure you blend it because these will apply product in a smaller area. So you want to make sure you blend it so you don't end up with a stripe, because a stripe isn't, I don't think, as cute as a blended highlight. So this is other options. These don't have names on them, but these are Moda brushes as well. I missed one for blush. Megan says, my newest favorite highlighter brush is Wet n Wild one, silver handle, white brushes. I think it came in a set. Nice. Hello, Melissa in London. And Allison's going to try Moda. You should. I mean, they're really, really good. And I think that's why they always send me stuff, because they know how much I love their stuff. And then I'm going to keep saying good things because they know that I love them. I mean, there's definitely some Moda brushes that I don't like. Like, there's like some weird ones. Where's that weird like lip thing? I don't know. There's some weird ones that they've got. I don't even know what's going on. They try some weird things sometimes. But their regular brushes that are like typical, they're fantastic. Taylor wants to know if the Sigma eye brushes are as good as everyone claims. Yes, but I have some alternatives for you, and I'm going to get to those in a second. And it's 10:30, so I got to finish up face brushes because we got to move on to eye brushes. This was another one that I wanted to show you as far as blush. This is actually a tapered highlighter by Luxie. It's a 522. I use this more for highlighter because it's it just seems to fit better with highlighter, but you can definitely use something like this for blush. You could technically use it for contour, but I have a better option for contour that works better for me, and that is brushes like this. This is the Luxie 504 large angled. I love angled brushes for contour. So I do have a short-lived series called Everyday People where we did makeup tips for everyday people, like not professional, like just really easy things that anybody can do from one non-professional to another. And so what you do when you, so if you want to know more about contour and you want to see me do it, then you can go to that video. I've gotten so many compliments on that video, which I'm very thankful. I really like how it came out. It's very cute. But anyway, enough about that. But you can take this angled brush, you put it in your contour, and what you want to do is you want to start at the top of your ear. And think about a pool stick. You know, if you're trying to hit that, you know, hit that pool, the cube or whatever, the 8 ball, whatever ball you're trying, not the 8 ball if it's not the last round, but I'm off topic, 3 a.m. brain. But you want to go straight toward the corner of your mouth. So that way you can get the shape for your face. Because what I used to do was I used to go like this. I used to go like this right here. That is not cute. That makes me look like I have a beard. And that is not cute, in my opinion, on me. So you want to angle it this way. And it's actually going to invade your blush space a little bit, most likely. And that's okay. It's all right for it to invade your blush space. It's okay for it all to kind of overlap and kind of go together. But as long as you stay on that angle, you should be good. And where you want to stop is right in the middle of your eyeball. So not going past here. You want the most concentrated product at the back, faded down into less product in the front for contouring. But again, I have a whole video on that if you want to see it. So I feel like these angle brushes are perfect for that because they really fit the shape of your face so you can really get it to go down. And giving it a little swirly swirl as you go down. It's just, I had the hardest time learning how to contour, but once I learned to do that, it's been so much better, so much better. So yes, on these for that. I feel like there's other things that people use to apply the contour, like some people use like those NARS Ita brushes kind of shapes. Do I have one? Like something like, not this. Oh, this is the Outer Beauty version of that flat top kabuki I was looking for. Those Ita brushes, where's it? Here we go, like this. Okay, so this is by a brand called MGS. Must have gotten this in a subscription box or something. But like it looks like this, and people will apply their contour like this, and then they'll blend it out like this. And for me, that's too much work. It's too many steps. And also this applies the contour very strong because it's so dense. So it takes a lot to blend it out. I think the overall look can come out better, but I don't got time for that, man. I don't got time for that. That's too much. So I don't really do that very much. There are these large powder brushes. This is by It Brushes for Ulta. This is an angled one. This is good for blending it out, but I wouldn't apply it with something this big because this is too big for my face. If your face is bigger, you might be able to do something with a brush like this, but this is too big for application. This would be a blend. Let's see. Oh, Lisa, I hope that you feel better soon, hon. Oh, big hugs to Lisa. Lisa's going through some stuff. Hug, Lisa. If I could give you a real hug, I would. I'll be thinking of you. Okay, so face brushes, powder brushes, last one. Big fluffy powder brushes. I go through phases as far as applying like finishing powder. So for finishing powder, the point of it is to kind of bring it all together, help with lasting power, things like that. So one of these big fluffy brushes, this is It Brushes by Ulta. It's called the Chic Powder Brush, and just all over. But for setting foundation, setting powder for like under the eye, I'll go back and use something like this. These are great. I said we use these, I use these for concealer. I'll also, not concealer, for highlighter. I'll also use these for setting powder under the eye. They fit really, really beautifully. And I feel like sometimes the concealer, if it dries too quickly and I can't get the setting powder on there, I feel like it doesn't look as good as if I get the setting powder on there faster. And that's something I've been playing with more recently than over a long time. But yeah, these kinds of brushes are really nice for that. You can also use like the tapered highlighter brushes and stuff for that. Anything that's small that fits under the eye. Cynthia says, do you have any natural hair brush recommendations? I'm a makeup artist and have the whole Sigma set and love it. That was until I tried the MAC 217. It was discontinued. Help. Why did MAC do that? We could go into why MAC did that. I think we know why MAC did that. I think, you know, that it's just a whole topic that I could just talk forever about. But if you tried Wayne Goss brushes, I know they're pricey, but they're very, very, very good. I believe this one might be a natural hair brush. It feels like a natural hair brush. So the Eve Pearl brush, but Wayne Goss brushes are really good. They are. And I know some people are very anti-natural hair brushes, and that's totally fine. Most of these brushes that I'm showing you are synthetic. Yeah, Wayne Goss brushes are amazing. They're just really expensive. I usually get some in my Beautylish Lucky bags. The Beautylish Lucky bags are coming up again. They're mystery boxes that you get stuff in. So every Wayne Goss brush I own came from one of those. I haven't bit the bullet and bought one on my own. All right, let's go ahead and move into eye brushes. So, okay, eye brushes. Okay. The staple eye brushes that I feel like everybody needs in their life. Like if I were to design an eye brush set, I would include a brush like this. Okay, these brushes are like flat shader brushes. This is my favorite one. This is a Royal & Langnickel, which is the same company that makes Moda, but this is from their Omnia line. And I'm pretty sure these are natural hair brushes for packing color onto the lid. That's the main purpose for these. The fluffier they get, the harder it is to pack the color, like I was mentioning with the face brushes. So you have to kind of play with and figure out what works for you. I don't like the really flat ones, even for foil and shimmer shadows. I know a lot of people really like those flat brushes. I can't get them to work for me, so I can't recommend them, even though I know that a lot of people swear by them. I can't get them to work for me. These work well for me, and my fingertips work well for me for packing color onto the lid. These are really, really good. But if you have smaller eyes, like somebody said that they have smaller eyes, that's too big. This one is by a company called, went out of my head. I can't think of what it's called. They're sold on Amazon. It starts with a B. Beauty Junkies. Got it. Beauty Junkies. They're sold on Amazon. These are amazing. They're fantastic brushes. I can't believe it took me this long to bring out a Beauty Junkies brush. I did a video on these a long time ago as well. This is a smaller one, so you can see the sizes. So this is a smaller one. If you have even smaller eyes than that, you can go as small as like this Luxie brush. This one I don't like as much because it doesn't taper down enough. This was from their Jasmine collection. It doesn't taper down enough, so I don't like this one as much. But this one, this is an Ulta brush, Ulta brand brush. I use this thing all the time. This is, I know I was going to go for staples for the collection, but the thing is depending on your eye shape, you may need one versus the other, but something to pack color on your lid. This is an Ulta brush. It's their small eyeshadow brush. I got this like in a set or something. This thing is fantastic. I love this brush. And it's really good for detailing, like right in the inner corner where I can't get my finger to go in exactly. Like I can't get it in the inner corner. This is stinking amazing. It is such a good brush. And I love that it's got this little pinchy guy here. It feels really good to just like boop, 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 get it right in there. So really it's just finding a flat shader brush that has the thickness that you like and the size that you like. So when you're picking one out, think about the size of your eyes and what's going to work for you. So I did not go over brow brushes yet, Kelly. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. C brushes, same thing, really great for detailing. A C brush is similar to this. It's just shorter. So really good for like detailing in there. But if you're just trying to get a basic brush set, then just one of these is fine. Here's another one this is from Juvia's Place. Juvia's Place makes really nice brushes. I've only tried one set. I got a bunch in PR, but I haven't tried those yet. I just have the one pink set that I bought. Allison says about Smith brushes. You know, my friend Nancy got me a few Smith brushes, and I'm still trying to get used to them. I know that they're amazing, but I'm still trying to figure out how to get them to work well for me. But I'm enjoying them. Okay, so next, okay, so we've got for color on the lid. The crease, I feel like, is the one where it kind of, there's a bunch of different things you can do. If you just want something basic, let's say you're doing a 2-color eye look. You want a color in your crease, you want a color on your lid, that's it. This shape is really, really, really good. This is a Moda brush, but you can see how it's like curved right here. So the purpose for that is to get right in here in the crease of your eye. So that taper is really, really nice for that. It picks up a lot of product and you can really get it in there. If you're in a pinch and you can only buy one eye brush, I would say get this one eye brush, because you can do a lot. I feel like like I've done an entire eye look with just this brush. Did it come out professional looking? Absolutely not, you know, but it's possible to do an entire eye look with just a brush like this. So if you're in a pinch, this one right here. But this is definitely one that you can do. It has a lot of versatility. You can really do a lot of good things with this. That is, let's see, do I have anything I wanted to say about that? Okay, so this is the Sigma version. This is the E25 brush. Everybody used to talk about this like as the Holy Grail brush like that. And it is a fantastic brush, but you can get, you know, Luxie, Moda, like all kinds of places make brushes like this. This one's more tapered than this one. You know, it's a little pointier. Taylor says, I always hear and see Emily Noel using Sigma eye brushes. I may just bite the bullet and buy the one she uses most. She gives such great reviews on them. What you might want to do is wait for the holidays if you're going to, like, you know, get some kind of holiday, you know, if you're trying to get some brushes from Sigma, because they usually have holiday sales, and I have a feeling they're going to have holiday sales this year. I don't know that for a fact. I have no connections over at Sigma, but you might want to just wait and see what kind of sets they come out with and what kind of discount they're going to put them on for the holidays. So they might have like a 20% off sale, something like that. So you might want to hold off. So along with that, along with some kind of flat shader brush or a detailing brush if you want to get finishy, and something like this for blending. Also a really, really fluffy blending brush. So I've got a few of those. Get all these babies up here. Okay, so what this is going to do is this is going to bring all the colors together. So when you pack it on with this, this is really hard to blend in a soft way. This is going to give you a more harsh blend where it's not going to give you a really beautiful gradient of color. It's going to kind of mush things together. It's just not going to be as pretty as if you have something like this, these really fluffy ones. So when you're all done, you've packed all the color on, taking this and just giving it a light sweep with a clean one of these is a great way to just bring it all together, and they're wonderful. So I've got the Morphe M573. I've got the Moda one. Oh, is this Moda? Yeah, Moda Pro. This is BMX 430. Ride my bicycle. This is the Moda Prismatic one. This one's a little crooked because I washed it and got a little squished. This one is the Tapered Blending. This is the E40 by Sigma. This one used to be another one that people like freaked out over. And this is a crease blender, L21-5 by Stilazzi. And Stilazzi is another brand that I'm seeing start to come up a little bit. I know Bailey and Sarian uses these. They sent me a bunch of brushes and I'm really enjoying them. Price point is a little bit more than Moda, but not as much as Sigma. And they're very, very nice. So very nice. And this just kind of brings it all together. If I had to kind of describe the point of these, in my opinion. So I really like those a lot. So I would say those are kind of the three brushes that I would say is a staple in an eye look. Something flat like this, something pointy like this, and then a fluffy one like this. Those three. Now getting into ones that are a little bit more fun for more details. So we've got pencil brushes. This one is a Wayne Goss pencil brush. This one is number 20. And it's amazing. The point of this is to detail really, really small. So this is great for getting color right into the crease. So if, like, let's say you got one color on your lid, you've got one color on your, in your crease, up on your brow bone, and you want a separation, what I'll do is I'll take this and dip this into a deeper color and just kind of run it right there to really give that separation between the lid and the crease and the brow bone. And it works out beautifully. And then if it looks too sharp, blending it out with one of these fluffy guys to just kind of bring it all together. Just be careful with if you got shimmer on your eyes using one of these big fluffy brushes, because you can like totally mess up the shimmer and the sparkle on your eyes, get a bunch of fallout if you go too low with one of these fluffy brushes. And because they're so big, like, you got to kind of really be careful where you're blending with it, which it can get kind of tricky. But yeah, pencil brushes are great for that. They're great for hitting up the lower lash line. They're great for like just boop, boop, boop right here. They're great, wonderful for that. I was trying to find a pencil brush that was at a lower price point, and like I couldn't really find, oh, my computer's turning off. Here, let me show you. I've got this one. This one is a pencil L220, and this is a Stilazzi one. This one's very, very similar. Let's see. This one I feel like is too skinny. This is a liner brush. This is a Stilazzi liner brush. I don't like these little pencil liner brush. They kind of drive me a little nuts. They're a little too, they're not functional for me. I used to use brushes like that, and I fell out of love with them because I started using other kinds of liner brushes, which I will show you right now. This one, so okay. We'll go into line. Well, should we stay in the crease? Maybe we should stay in the crease before we go into liners. But yeah, I mean, really with pencil brushes, you don't need anything super fancy, really and truly. I mean, yes, fancy brushes can make your eye look go to another level, but I don't think it's completely necessary. Isabel says ColourPop has a good pencil brush. There you go. Banshee Muse says the Sigma pencil brush was horrible. It did not stay a pencil. Well, if I remember right, the Sigma one was kind of scratchy too, if I remember right. I think I'm with you on that. Let's stay in the crease for a minute because there's some really fun ones I wanted to show you. These are really fun. This is a Luxie 131 mini angled. Isn't that so cute and fun? I'll use this also for the same purpose as a pencil brush and just get right in there. And it's really nice, kind of like what I was saying about the angled contour brush, how it just kind of fits to your face and just brings it down. That's what these little angled brushes do. So cute, completely unnecessary, but so cute and so fun to play with. And I really, really like this little brush a lot. I have a similar one here. This one is Carity by Carity, not Clarity. Carity, and it's the E27 by Carity. And I believe this was, I should probably say which brands send me PR, just so you guys know. Luxie sends me PR, Moda sends me PR, and I think this Carity was sent in PR, Stilazzi. But other than that, I think I either got everything in a subscription box or purchased it. I've never gotten anything from Morphe, and I don't, unless they send it to me without my knowledge, I can't see myself with a Morphe code ever. I don't envision that. And you never say never, but I don't envision that. I don't think they'd like me much anyway. So, but anyway, so I just want to make sure you know, just in full transparency, which ones were sent to me. I don't care. I'm going to tell you either way, whether it's good or not. I'm going to tell you either way. But yeah, these brushes are really, really fun to play with. Let's see. Okay, so one more thing when it comes to eyeshadow brushes that I want to show you are brushes like this. They're like these really dense domed brushes. And what I use these for is for packing color into the outer corner and doing like outer V work, like over here, because they get a lot of product. So it just really, you can get that really smoky outer corner effect with something like this, and then blending it out into the other colors. But this is a great way to get color like right where you want it, right here. Or if you're doing a halo eye, you know, in here and here. Love these things. These things are really great. And then finally, we have brow brushes and liner brushes. And to me, I feel like there are some brushes you can use for both, such as this one. This one is a Coastal Scents brush. And this one, I got a set. I think this is the only one that I still use from that set. This is a very thin brush. So when you've got these angled brushes, You got to look at the thickness. If it's nice and thin, I can use that for both brows and for gel eyeliner. And that's my preferred way of doing it. But if it gets too thick, I really can only use that for my brows. Like for example, this Moda brush, I would never use this as a liner brush because it's just too thick. It's too thick for what I need for liner. But I do really like these for liner and for brows. These are my preferred way. I feel like with the thinner ones, I like those better because I feel like I can get more detailed on the brow with one that's thinner. I can get those more hair-like kind of pats there and stuff. And brow gel, exactly. Thank you so much, Mon. April says, Lisa Eldred turned me on to craft store brushes. I tried that. I tried craft store brushes. I tried, and they were so stinking scratchy, I couldn't even do it. They were not fun on my face. Candy says, ColourPop makes the best liner brush. It's so thin. Nice. This is another really good one for gel liner. This is a Moda one, and this is from their Metallics line, and it's tiny. So this is really good for someone that's new to using gel eyeliner because you have a ton of control and it's so small. It just takes a little longer because it is so small. You know, it just takes a little bit more to get the product on because you just don't have a lot of bristles there. But this is really great for that. And you can use this for brows too. So you can multitask. You don't really need a ton of brushes. Oh, Crystal says you're giving great tips people can really use. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal is an MUA, so I take that very, very seriously. You've never seen It's Crystal, her channel. She is a very talented makeup artist. Oh my gosh. I saw she got the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry stuff. Oh, so excited. She said that it isn't kicking up as much as the past palette, so I'm really curious to see what's going on with that. Jenny, where do you get Moda brushes? Walmart is the best place to get Moda brushes, or you can buy them online. You can buy them on Walmart's website or on Moda's website. They are amazing for less expensive brushes. I know I don't have a lot of Real Techniques brushes, but those are also really, really good. Eco Tools are very hit and miss for me. A lot of Eco Tools brushes I find not to be very good quality, at least in the past. I haven't bought any recently, but the ones that I owned in the past, I ended up just getting rid of. I found brushes to replace them that I liked better. I just found that they just didn't apply my makeup well. They're too fluffy, or I had one that fell apart, which did not make me feel happy. So yeah, so I'm not a big Eco Tools fan. I personally would choose Real Techniques and Moda over Eco Tools, but I also haven't tried them in at least a year. So maybe they've improved that. It's definitely possible. Miss Martina says sometimes they have Moda brushes at Ross for an even cheaper price. Ooh, that's great. That's wonderful. Okay, so I said I was going to talk about cleaning brushes. I didn't think about that before I was setting up, but right now I use a Sigma brush cleaner that I bought at IMATS last year. It's just a liquid cleaner. I don't think that's necessary. I've used baby shampoo on my brushes. I've used the just like cheap baby shampoo. I've used the Beauty Blender Solid. I really like the Beauty Blender Solid. My only concern about using cheap shampoo is that I have concern for the bristles, that I'm not treating them well. So especially if you're using natural hair brushes. So just be careful with using too cheap of a product. I've heard wonderful things about was it Dr. Bronner or Dr. Bonner? I think it's Dr. Bronner's. Heard great things. I've never tried it. I don't have any special brush cleaning hacks or anything. I don't clean my brushes all that often, to be honest with you. I don't. I have a system where I have a container where I have my dirty brushes, and then once a month, I just either, if I have time to clean them, I clean them, or if I don't have time to clean them, I just take the really dirty ones out and replace them and put them in a bag, and I clean them at another time, and replace them with other brushes, which is very lazy of me. But I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes I'm lazy when it comes to cleaning my brushes. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of tips and tricks for you for cleaning brushes as far as like hacks and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, Bobby says she's cleaning her brushes right now. Nice. Mary says, please do not use baby shampoo or Dawn soap. Yeah, and that's my big concern with it. And I have used it in the past, but I don't like to make a habit of it. I would rather use, like, I honestly really like the Beauty Blender Solid. I really like that. I think it works really, really well. I feel like it gets my brushes super clean. And I like the Sigma brush cleaner. I don't have they had a foaming one and a regular one. And I asked people there, you know, I said, my brushes are really dirty. Which one should I get? And like right at the same time, the two people that were working there were like, get the liquid, not the foaming one. So that kind of clued me into not getting the foaming one because they were so like, you need to get the liquid one. I also have some of the cleaning mats. But honestly, I am so like, I don't know. For me, what I do is I just take my brush, and you want to make sure, if you don't know this, a lot of you probably already know this, but you never want to take your brush and put it like this in the water because you'll get water inside your ferrule, which is this part right here. And if you get water in there, it can loosen up the glue and ruin your brush, and the bristles will start falling out. And it can get really gross, and just don't do that. When you wash your brushes, you always want to wash them facing downward. And if you can, drying them facing downward. If you don't have a contraption or a situation where you can hang them, laying them down flat on an angle can work too. You know, like taking paper, like sometimes I'll take paper towels and I'll lean them up against something and then dry them like this so that they're kind of facing downward. The only thing about that though is you don't want to crush your bristles. So you have to kind of find your happy medium of where it's laying down flat. It's not pushing down here. It's laying down flat, but it's also not like straight flat. I have dried my brushes flat before. It's fine, but it's not, for me, it's not ideal because I worry about the water getting up inside. So I don't know if you all knew that or not, but I figured I would mention it just in case maybe you're new to makeup and you don't know. So, I mean, I have used the mats, back to the mats. I have used the mats before, but honestly, I'm kind of lazy. And what I'll do is I'll put a pump of soap in my hand. I'll go like this in the soap. I'll go in the water, and I'll go like this in the water or on the mat. And then I'll kind of look at it and see whether it's all clean, you know, like kind of see if it's clean. If it seems to be still dirty, I'll go in again and I just rub it like this, you know, and I kind of go back and forth, you know, until it looks like it's clean, and then I put it up to dry. I do have a Sigma brush thing. I did in a favorites and fails, those Sigma drying racks. It's way over there. I'm not going to go get it, but you'll see it in one of my thumbnails from one of my favorites and fails videos. That thing it's kind of functional, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it. It's very hard to work with. It's easier just to like figure out some way to hang them or just lean them a little bit. All right, it is 10:59. Is there anything else you all wanted to talk about before I go? Yeah, miracles can happen. Baby shampoo is harsh and dries out brushes. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I have to admit I have done it, but it's definitely not something I try to make a habit of. Definitely not. JJ's makeup obsession, a lot of store-bought baby shampoo has wax in it. I did not know that. Oh, bronzer brushes. Bronzer brushes. I'll use the same brushes for bronzer as I do for contour. Thank you so much for that. Where's my angled one that I talked about? I'll use brushes like this for bronzer if I want a more dense application of it, or I'll use more of a brush like, kind of like these this is the Morphe Y11. This one's fine. This one's good, but I don't think it's any better than my Moda ones. But for something a little bit less, that one's too dense too. That's not what I'm trying to show you. This would be good for bronzer, the fluffier ones. Because for me, I feel like bronzer needs to be super, super light on me or else I look absolutely ridiculous. So a fluffy brush for bronzer is really important for me to do, you know, that whole thing. Just so that it applies the very lightest touch for bronzer. You can also use like the fluffier blush brushes are good for bronzer, like something like this. This is Linda. I'm thinking Thomas Halpern. Linda, something with an H. LH. Linda. These are great for bronzer, these guys. But yeah, anything else? Did I miss anything? Linda Hallberg? Is it Hallberg? Hallberg? Hallberg. 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 Brittany says, with exclamation points. Thank you. Hallberg. I'm thinking Thomas Halbert, and I couldn't get it out of my head. It was messing up my brain. Thoughts on doe color brushes? I don't know those. Doe color? You're talking about Linda Hallberg. Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Recall is not a strength for me. In case you haven't noticed. Recall, not a strength. All right, I gotta go. Family day with the fam. Thank you all so much for being here. Hopefully you found that informational. But again, I would love it if those of you that are in live chat, if there's something that I didn't say that you really want to get across, come back in like 15 minutes, leave it in the comments so we can all learn from you. If you're watching this on the replay, leave your thoughts down below so we can learn from you, because this is about all of us and about the community and about all of our knowledge together. And that's what makes this such a special place, is that we can all learn from each other. And what I think may be different than what you think. So especially if you feel like there's something that you disagree with, or you feel like something works better for you, leave it in the comments below so that, you know, we can get a different perspective, because that's what this is all about. And then, like I was saying earlier, the more options we have, the more we can play with things and finally find something that works for us. So I want to thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Mad love to you. And I will see you in video very, very soon. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye.